and social media, which is a zone that Trump and his followers really they own right now. They're better at it. They're using it in ways that are more consistent with its biases, which are not really toward truth, but toward sensationalism and toward animus. But the other idea, just the whole idea of exposing lies, I think misunderstands what those lies are doing and what they're for. Trump's lies are not simply to disinform the public about things. It's really more to demonstrate the ability to lie with impunity. The function of the lying is different. I mean, I was watching the press secretary out there saying stuff that he just knew wasn't true. Oh, this is the biggest inauguration of all time. And it reminded me of the people I studied in cults. I did a cult study back in the late 90s when I was trying to look at the similarities between cults and brands, and whether or not, things like Apple and Harley Davidson, are those cults, and do they use any of the same rules in establishing a consumer cult as a cult? But one of the techniques that cult leaders use is they make their subordinates do really crazy things. If a cult member does a really crazy thing, or a mean thing, or gets rid of a family member, or gives an exorbitant sum of money, whatever, does a bizarre thing, or has sex with someone that they don't want to, or the kinds of things that cults make their followers do. When you do those things, it forces you to justify them by believing that the cult leader is real. In other words, why would I have done that ridiculous, terrible, crazy thing unless this guy really is, God, is the Holy One? It justifies one's loyalty to themselves, but it makes it impossible to leave. You've done this crazy thing, maybe in front of people, in front of your family. If the guy's not it, that's going to be really hard. What can you do after that? So when I'm looking at this press secretary saying these crazy things, from the minute he threw his hat in there and went into lie crazy stuff, Trump has earned his loyalty. This guy now needs Trump to stay in office. I mean, if Trump got kicked out or something in 6 months, what's this guy going to do? He's just committed himself to crazy. So now he has to go whole hog into that. This is a great way to engender the loyalty, the blind loyalty of the people that are working with you, is just to get them to do stuff that they wouldn't be able to answer for once you weren't on the scene, once you were no longer in power. The idea of expending more effort to make his lies look more ridiculous actually serves the opposite purpose. The more that you push against those lies, the more loyal his people have to be to him. The more that they believe that, oh my gosh, everybody really is trying to keep the truth from coming out. So it doesn't help them either. All it does is really strengthen the people that are around him. The way forward for progressives is not to try to make media that counters the reality that he's describing, but is to make a reality that counters the reality that he's describing. The way forward is for progressives to do progressive things. We have to put in some cases, we have to put kind of political machination, opposition polling and all this electoral political stuff. We have to put electoral politics aside in order for progressives just to do progressive things, whether it's setting up a favor bank or figuring out a literacy campaign or cleaning up your water, actually doing things, not asking for politicians to do them for us. All of this activity, if progressives are doing progressive things. It anchors progressive behavior, the progressive mindset in people. And everybody living in those towns and cities and villages will see the actual changes being made through progressive action, not by progressive argument, but by progressive action. And that can trickle up to party politics and create places for homegrown candidates to actually take charge of the party, and also slowly embed progressive values that are consonant with those, hopefully, that the candidates in that party are espousing. Actually doing things in the real world is a better way to assert our truth, not by proclaiming it, but by enacting it.